Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and I have a very interesting game for you played by Anatoly Karpov against Vlastimil Hort. This game was played in 1978 in Bugojno, which is a town in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Karpov had white pieces and he started with e4, c6 by Hort, Caro-Kann defense, d4, d5, knight d2, d takes e4, knight takes e4, and knight d7. Vlastimil Hort goes for Karpov variation, which is a very solid positional line named after the 12th world chess champion Anatoly Karpov. The short-term goal of knight d7 is to ease development by early exchange of pair of knights without allowing white to damage black's pawn structure on the king side. Knight f3, knight f6, we see the exchange of knights on f6 square, knight e5 and bishop f5. According to Karpov, playing bishop e6 followed by g6, bishop g7 would seem to be a safer setup for black. Instead we see bishop f5. c3, white is strengthening his center, e6, and here we go g4. Bishop g6, now comes h4, Karpov is starting an immediate advancement on the king side. In the return match for the World Championship, Mikhail Tal played this type of idea against Botvinnik. The intrepid pawns wish to emphasize the unfortunate position of black bishop at g6, which cannot be switched to another diagonal by playing bishop e4, because white can play f3 and then c4. Let's go back. After h4, black responded with h5, which is weakening black's king side too much. It was better to play queen c7. The idea is that if h5, then bishop e4, and if f3, then bishop d5. And here c4 can be met with knight takes g4. Now if knight takes g4, then here is the whole idea of bringing the queen on this diagonal. Black can play queen g3 check. If knight f2, then bishop b4 check. Actually black is getting counter-attacking chances. Or after knight takes g4, if c takes d5, then knight takes e5 followed by queen takes e5 and then queen takes d5. The white's position is preferable, but black can fight back. But after h4 we see h5. Now comes g5, knight d5 and knight takes g6. White is creating weaknesses in black's camp. Now these pawns can actually be very vulnerable, and we will see in the game how Karpov will target those pawns. Here comes queen c2, a quiet move which proves to have a resounding success. King f7, now comes the rook, rook h3. This transfer of the rook onto the third rank decides the game. Now white rook will cause confusion in the enemy ranks. Knight e7, bishop c4, knight f5. Black managed to bring the knight on the active f5 square, but an unpleasant surprise awaits him. Rook f3, queen d7, and now you can pause the video and try to find Karpov's next move. Ready? He simply grabbed the knight on f5 square, g takes f5, queen takes f5 check, king e7, queen e4, rook e8, bishop f4. Karpov is developing the last piece and is preparing to castle queenside, king d8. Now black is intending to play bishop d6, exchange the bishops, but now comes queen e5, rook g8. This time black wants to develop his bishop and white castles queenside, g6, rook e1. Finally the rook also joined the attack, bishop g7, queen b8 check and king e7, which is losing on the spot. Queen c8 is better, though after queen takes a7 looks like that the attack is going to be decisive. But after queen b8 check we see king e7, which is losing on the spot. Here Karpov simply captured on e6 and Vlastimil Hort resigned. Now if queen takes e6, then queen c7 check. If queen d7, then simply bishop d6 checkmate. Or after queen c7 check, if king f8, then again bishop d6 check. Now if queen takes d6, then queen f7 checkmate. Or if queen e7, then simply bishop takes e7. And then with a cunning queen maneuver, white is managing to checkmate black king. That's why, as I've already mentioned, after this crushing rook takes e6 move, Vlastimil Hort resigned. A very instructive game, I think. Karpov is a great expert of Caro-Kann defense. He himself was playing Caro-Kann a lot, and with this game he demonstrated how to play against that super solid opening. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave your comments, and for more games don't forget to subscribe to my channel.